Okay, there we go. Welcome everyone to the Egypt travel event. I am Victoria. Some of you may have heard before. I'm a tour ambassador for the Solo Female Traveler Network, and this is Mariam. Mariam is the Solo Female Traveler Network tour guide. So this is our actual guide for our tours. Mariam, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell them a little about you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mariam. I'm Egyptian. I'm Egyptologist, and I used to work with Sophie recently just this year. I'm 39 years old. I have two kids, 13 years old. They're twins, boy and a girl. And if you have any questions, I'm here for you today. If you want to ask about something in history, about Egypt, so I can help you.
Thank you, Mariam, and welcome.
Thank you.
So just to run down for everyone, Mariam and I are going to be answering some frequently asked questions about traveling to Egypt, and then we'll open it up for questions for everyone else, people who are wanting to travel to Egypt. If you live here and want to say hey, anything else, we'll open questions for that as well. First, I wanted to share my screen. I'll be sharing some photos of our trips and people on the trips with me and Mariam as we're talking, just so you guys can see a bit of what Egypt is like as we talk at the same time. So let me get that set up. And while I'm doing that, Mariam, I'd love for you, I know you had a bit of information just about Egypt you wanted to tell us about. I'd love for you to kind of take it away on Egypt in general before we go into specific questions.
What I want to tell you first about Egypt, about the location of Egypt. Egypt is an African country which is located in the east-north corner of Africa. From the north, we'll find the Mediterranean. From the south is Sudan. From west is Libya. And from east is the Red Sea. If you look at the map of Egypt, you'll find it yellow color. Do you know why it's yellow color? Anyone have an idea?
Sand. Is it sand? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Sahara Desert. Do you know what's the meaning of Sahara? It's an Arabic name which means desert.
Okay. Dry desert.
Yeah, Sahara, it's an Arabic word which means desert. And in the middle, we'll find the green line, which is in the middle of the map. And this is the Nile Valley, which everyone is living around now. About the religion in Egypt, it's we are 85 Muslims and 15 Christians. We all speak Arabic. Anyone want to ask about anything now, about history, about anything?
Actually, what I wanted to do is kind of run through some frequently asked questions and then at the end open it up to questions about history, if you don't mind, Mariam.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So for everyone here, our Egypt tour for the Solo Female Traveler Network is one of our most popular tours. It's amazing for one, Egypt's amazing, but two, our tour guide is amazing. Shout out to Mariam. So with that being said, we have a lot of frequently asked questions that the company gets for travelers who are traveling to Egypt. And Mariam and I wanted to tackle them, answer all the questions like, is it safe to be solo? What's it like on a tour? What should you wear coming to Egypt, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and read off some of them and we'll go from there. So the first question, main question that we get asked is Egypt safe to travel solo? Mariam, you see a lot of travelers coming who are solo travelers. At the end of the day, most of the people on our tours, most of the women are solo travelers who are coming and meeting each other. So do you feel that it's safe for them? And if not, what are some safety precautions that they can take while coming to Egypt in order to be safe?
Yeah, first thing I want to say about this, please don't listen to the media. Like, media goes as a political way all the time. So if you want to know if Egypt's safe or not, look at the reviews of the tourists. Look at the females who came to Egypt before. What was their experience? So in Sufi, we do a group tour. So everything is organized, everything is controlled. Even the vendors, we can control them, because a lot of complaints about vendors, but this is everywhere in the world. Like, everyone is trying to sell you something, following you. So you will find this everywhere in the world, but we control this in Sufi as well. So yes, it's safe. Don't worry. Everyone came, was scared at the beginning, and then he find everything was nice. He leave with a fantastic memory and experience.
And on the note of it being safe to travel solo, I personally am an expat who lives in Egypt. I'm originally an American. I'm from Florida. Anyone here is from Florida, hey. But I currently have been living in Egypt now for a year and a few months, and it's solo when I'm out and doing things alone. And I've felt sometimes safer living here than I have living at home sometimes. Like, traveling in New York City, it's sometimes not as safe as being in Cairo, which is funny because I think that as foreigners who aren't aware of what's going on in certain countries, we don't actually know the situation. We don't know politics, we don't know any of that. And we hear a lot of things on the news about the Middle East and going here and etc. But I've realized traveling here alone that people are the same. People just want you to be happy and enjoy their country. And yes, there's always going to be people who don't have the best intentions, but that's everywhere in the world.
Yeah, good.
Does anyone have questions about specifically solo traveling in Egypt? All right, I'm going to continue on then. Another question that we get asked about is, what should you wear when traveling to Egypt? As Mariam mentioned, it is a Muslim country, so you should dress a bit more conservatively, but at the same time, you don't have to be completely covered. Mariam, you want to talk a little bit about what tourists should wear, what locals are wearing, etc.? Oh, I see your question. So before we talk about what to wear, our tours for Sophie are anywhere from 6 people, technically 4, from 4 to around 15 people. It depends on your trip. Every trip is different depending on how many people sign up. We see some trips who are a bit smaller depending on also the time of year. Some people like to travel in the summer and have more vacations. Some don't. So it always depends on which trip you sign up with. You always are able to ask too. And at the end of this, we'll give you some resources on how to contact our Meetup Tour manager. And you're able to email her and get more information about the tour specifically too. I hope that answered your question. Yes, night trains. Okay, so what I will do, go ahead and keep typing your questions in the chat, guys, as we're talking, and then at the end, we'll go ahead and answer the rest of them. So if you have any as we're talking, go ahead and throw them into the chat and we'll go from there. So Mariam, do you want to talk a little bit about what travelers should wear when traveling to Egypt?
Yeah, as you mentioned that it's a Muslim country, so you don't have to be all covered. Like I walk on the street with my hair with no cover on my head. just wearing cut or sleeveless t-shirt, it's okay. But in some places we have to be covered, like if you are going to visit a mosque, we have to be full covered, like long pants. People know that you are tourists, so it's okay if you can wear a short but not hot short, long one. So that's it about clothes, if you want to ask about something else.
And to tap into that, for people coming to Egypt, you also have to think of the weather. I mean, we're the desert, it's hot. So
Yeah.
I think, yes, you don't have to dress as conservatively, but sometimes like long flowy dresses and light fitting shirts work better because it's hot. I mean, you gotta get yourself some flowy, breezy clothing just to kind of live through the heat. So another question we have, a frequently asked question, is the best Egyptian foods to try. Egyptian food is amazing. We, as on the Sophie tour specifically, we try a lot of different foods, but there's a lot of foods in general that everyone should try when you're coming to Egypt, along with a lot of places that you should try too. So just a few of them, and Mariam, join in with foods that people should try, but I wrote down a few. Kosheri, which is, it's the national dish of Egypt, and on the Sophie Egypt tours, we have an entire afternoon dedicated to one specific dish, like an entire meal that we have a whole afternoon scheduled to devoting our time to eating. It is definitely worth trying. Mariam, do you have any other suggestions that people should try when coming?
Tagine as well. Did you forget the tagines?
I did, yes.
Tagines in Egypt.
Yes. I don't know who said that, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. It came out.
Hi.
I'm sorry. I lived in Egypt and I never saw tagine there. That's from Morocco.
We
Yes.
have tagine in Egypt as well.
Okay. I guess not on the parts I live.
Where did you live in Egypt?
I live in Giza and in the hub.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you currently live here?
No, right now I'm in Prague.
Oh, wow. World traveler.
Yes.
So you can give us your experience about the safety in Egypt.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I'd love to know. How did you feel when living in Egypt?
Oh, I love it. I've been there 3 times. 1 year, I even took my granddaughter for summer vacations because I wanted her to see the country. I mean, and she loved it also. I mean, the people are friendly. They're very welcoming. I don't like kosheri, but the rest of the food is delicious. And in the hub, you can walk on the street in your bikini. That's not a problem. Mm-hmm. Depends what part of Egypt you are that you have to dress differently. But Hurghada, the hub, any of those places, you can use short shorts.
Yes, in the resorts, it's different.
Yeah. No, I wasn't in a resort. I was, yeah.
But in the beach areas, I've noticed we actually,
oh, yes.
On our tour, we spend a few days in a resort in Hurghada on the Red Sea. And it's so funny how the beginning of the trip, when we're in Cairo, we're all wearing our like flowy dresses and covered up.
Yeah.
And by the end of the trip, we're full on bathing suits, walking around with a drink in our hand on the boat, just relaxing. And it's so funny how different it is in Egypt. Places.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Even in the hub or any of those places, I mean, you can walk in town in just a little short, a little blouse, whatever, because it's very hot. Yeah.
Of course, yes. So I'd love it. Keep talking as well. Like if you have input on some of these questions, give us some of your answers as well. I'm going to skip to a few more because I know we have a lot coming in the chat too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring up just a few more things and give a bit of the answers in the chat. We've got a lot going in here, which is awesome. So a few more. Mariam, I'd love to know actually your experience before we start answering some of these questions. What is your favorite place to visit in Egypt? And what is your favorite place to visit in Egypt on our meetup tour?
The first place I love in Egypt is Aswan. Really, it's a very, very beautiful place. The people there, the Nubians are very kind people. It's amazing. If you ask me about even the temples, I love Abu Simbel temple, which is highly recommended. You have to do it. It's amazing temple, which is completely transferred from its place to another place by the UNESCO. So it's a great project and a great monument that you can't skip.
And speaking on Aswan, if you were to ask me my favorite place in Egypt as well on our tour, it would be Aswan as well. And the photo that you guys are seeing now is actually the accommodation that we stay in on our meetup tour. It's a Nubian house. So in Egypt, there are many types of people. There are many types of ethnic backgrounds. And in the south of Egypt is Aswan, which is where the Nubians live. And they are basically people of the sun. They're a bit more African influence rather than Middle East influence. But all of their homes are so colorful and they have lots of color and lots of dancing and lots of very expressionist type of people. And this is one of the homes that we stay in on our trip. And it's a fan favorite for everyone just because of the photo opportunity in this specific place. So I'm going to actually go ahead and start answering some of these questions. So that way we can have some free time as well at the end to kind of chat a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and read a few of your questions that you guys have asked. So one of the questions is Egyptian Arabic different from Arabic spoken elsewhere? Mariam, that's a question for you. You speak fluent Arabic.
Sorry, I missed that question again, please.
Is Egyptian Arabic very different from Arabic spoken elsewhere?
No, it's not different, it's just the accent, which is different.
And to speak on that too, I've noticed that sometimes Egyptians speak, like they have a slang, kind of like anywhere in the world, how there's a version of slang that any place would have. And I've noticed that sometimes Egyptians will speak a word that is in Arabic that I know, but it means something completely different, but it's only because it's slang to them.
Yeah.
Another question that somebody asked is what size suitcase or backpack is appropriate? So it depends on how long you're traveling and what type of traveler you are. If you're talking specifically about coming on our Egypt Meetup Tour, we always suggest to bring one bag and then of course your carry-on. But just because in general in Egypt, if you're traveling around Egypt, it's not just staying in one place. Most people come to see the pyramids, they come to see the temples, the tombs, they want to see Aswan, they want to see the Red Sea. So it's a lot of traveling around the country. So whenever you're traveling to multiple places, of course you want to pack lighter. So the size itself, I'm not 100% sure about, but we actually do have the recommendations of specifically like suitcase sizes and how much it should weigh and things like that on our website. which at the end of this, I will go ahead and link that. But we have a frequently asked questions Egypt traveler guide on our website, which will answer that question for you. All right, another tour we have is for the Egypt tour, will we be walking around at night, or will we have the opportunity to walk around at night? Mariam, since you're our guide, I'd like you to answer a bit about being around at night in Egypt, nightlife, and walking around at night on the tour.
Yeah, you can, but not to be too late, like not after 12, to be safe.
I agree. And specifically on our tour, we do have times where we're out at night. When we are in Aswan, we go out and have dinner at night. Like there's a few times where we're out and about, we see nightlife. We actually go to one of the temples at night as well, which is really cool. I have a photo in here I will show you actually. There we go.
Luxor Temple.
Yes. So to answer your question, there is opportunity to walk around at night to see Egypt at night.
It's very safe at night. And the Egyptian men are very respectful of women. So you don't want to have any problem walking at night. I mean, I have done it by myself all over the place, and it's not a problem.
Yeah, I've noticed that, oh, we're getting more, gotta let more people in. Sorry about that, guys. So I've noticed the same thing, is that it's fairly safe, and that's why we allow some good time to do that on our tour as well. So another question that we have is, what is the average temperature in May?
Very hot. It will be hot, yeah.
Yes, it's hot. It's not as bad as the summer, but it gets hot enough that you probably will want to wear lighter clothing, and like I mentioned in the beginning. Hope that answers your question a bit more. So what is the price range of our tour? Or I realize that it depends on strength, but hotels are different. So the price range depends on you. It depends on what type of traveler you are. Some people prefer luxury travel. Some people prefer hostels and things like that. I am not 100% sure, just because I don't know what type of traveler you are, but we do actually have a lot of information on our website about all of that stuff as well too. One thing that I wanted to talk about a bit more before we go through the rest of these questions is a lot of what you hear on the media and through social media is that there is a bit of haggling and harassment and things in Egypt. And at the end of the day, it depends on your area, but also it's not the type of country that is westernized. So you will see a bit of not harassment, but a sort of harassment, especially when you're at tourist areas. There are, of course, kind Egyptians, but like I mentioned in the beginning, there are types of people who aren't as nice. So I just wanted to bring out that if you are traveling to Egypt, it is always safer to go with a group. Yes, of course, you can be solo and you can be by yourself, but logistic wise and just Egypt in general, it's always safer to go with a group. All right, so I'm going to answer a few more questions. I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of them, but then I also wanted to tackle and ask you guys a few questions and let you talk a bit as well. So a few more that we have is the tour activities start early in the morning. So on our tours, yes, and there's also someone who asked about free time. So what I wanted to do is have Mariam answer a bit about what a day looks like on a tour with us. Just any day. Mariam, do you mind giving like a daily rundown of what they would see, talking about starting in the morning versus having free time and things like that?
Yeah, like when we go to Abu Simbel tour, day tour, you have to wake up early because it's long ride from Aswan to Abu Simbel. So we have to go early to finish and come back early to complete our day and relax by the felucca at the rest of the day. We, of course, we will give you a free time. What we always do that after we finish explaining the temple or the monument, we give free time for photos, taking around. Even if you are in the museum, we will finish and you will take a free time to go around all the museum and see each piece. So yes, you have a free time. Yes, sometimes we have to make a wake up early tours, and that's it.
And
When I went to Abu Simbel, the tour people, they came to pick me up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's not what I call early. That's the middle of the night. That was, yeah.
Yeah, we
You
go
have to
about
do
work.
it. But you have to do it because it's amazing.
I actually noticed that we have one of our previous travelers who has been on the Solo Female Traveler Network Meetup Tour twice, and she's actually in the chat here. I wanted to say hello and invite her to say hi to everyone as well. I will continue answering your questions, but I know that she can talk a little bit about what it's like on a day of the Egypt tour, because she's been on it twice.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Aya. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Hi, Aya.
Hi, Mariam. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
How are you? So we're talking a bit about what it's like on the Egypt tour. We're talking about, is it early mornings? What's the day kind of like? I'd love for you to talk a bit about your experience on the tours. You've been on two.
I've been on two. Yeah, I've been on two tours. Each tour was different. But yeah, you get up early, but it's fun because you know you're about to go see something amazing and great. And Miriam is like, she's very knowledgeable. So it's fun. I don't know how to explain it. Do you get up early? Yes, but you know it's worth it. And you have so much free time. Like you can just go take pictures, you walk around, you get a load of information. And the waking up early wasn't a problem. It wasn't, because then you know you have your tour things that you want to see. Everybody wants to see Abu Simbel and go see the Isis temple. But then you have your 3 days where you're at the resort in Haragata. So that's where you get to sleep in and, you know, just hang around the beach at the Red Sea and stuff like that. So I really think that it gives you a great educational, historical part, but then you get the chill out part where you're just at the beach. And, you know, and then they give you so much options. Like, you know, you have an option. If you don't want to go to see Abu Simbel, you don't have to go. So it's options that you have. But I think that the tours were great. I love Sophie. I'm looking at another tour, go to Turkey. So, and I've been on 3 with Sophie, so all together. And it's amazing.
Thank you.
What resort do you stay in, Hurghada?
I'm not 100% sure, but it is on our website. So if you were interested, you can check it out from
Oh,
there.
no, I don't do tours. It's just, I mean, I know a few of them. That's what I was wondering.
Oh yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
It was different. The first one I went to was I think it was like a Caribbean, it said was Caribbean something, and then the last one was a different resort. So Sophie's always giving you, like, where we stayed the first time was different from where I stayed at the second time. So they're always like, it seems like they're upgrading, and they listen to their customers, and they listen to what people, the input that people have to say. So it's they're always evolving.
The reason I was asking, because some of the resorts are a little far from the center.
This one that we stayed was not, the last one that we stayed at Harigata was not far from the center. Like you could walk out right across the street and there was shops and pharmacies.
Oh, okay.
And we used the same resort last tour. So it's in the center, don't worry.
So another question that we had is, what fitness level is needed for your Egypt tour? I wanted to answer and then give Aya and Mariam some story time. But in general, our Egypt Meetup Tour, there's a lot of walking when you're looking at the tombs and temples, because some of the temples are huge. I mean, you're going pretty far. But as for fitness level, you don't need to be completely like ready to hike Mount Sinai and Mount Kilimanjaro tomorrow. But you definitely need to be able to do some sort of walking. I know that Mariam and Aya may have a story to tell about some sand duning hiking. If you guys want to talk a little bit about fitness level on the Egypt tour too.
Aya, how was your fitness?
I say, first of all, I'm not the most fit person in this world, and I was able to do it. I wasn't like huffing and I didn't need oxygen, so that was good. I just think it's like a regular fitness level. It's a lot of walking. It's not a lot of hills or anything like that. Nothing too strenuous or anything. It is a lot of walking.
Yeah.
I'm 72 years old, and I'm able to do all the walking and hiking there is in Egypt.
That's awesome.
So it's not bad.
It's good.
That's amazing. Does anyone else have any other questions for us that they want to put in the chat or ask to us specifically? We'd love to hear from you guys. All right, then I will keep on answering your questions from the chat. So let's see, what else do we have here? At some point, can you go back to the, yes, I can go back to the Egypt map, of course. All right, so someone asked if we could go back to the Egypt map and talk a bit about where the tour goes. I actually have another way where I can pull that up. So while I'm getting that, Mariam, do you mind talking a little bit about our itinerary specifically?
Yeah. First thing we visit, we will go to Giza area. And first thing we are going to visit is Saqqara pyramid, sorry, which is the step pyramid. And it's the oldest pyramid in the Egyptian history, the oldest pyramid in history. Okay, so your first thing you are gonna see in the beginning of the tour is the oldest pyramid. Then after that, we will go to the pyramids of Giza, the famous pyramids of Giza, which is the three pyramids. We're gonna visit the three pyramids of the King Cheops, Khafre, and Mykerinos, and the Sphinx as well. After we finish that, we are going to go for dinner, and then after we finish the dinner, we added something new to our itinerary, which is the cooking class. So we are going to have a cooking class to show you how to make the Egyptian food. Then the next day, we are going to visit the Egyptian Museum. So we are still in Cairo the first 2 days. Okay, so second day, we are going to visit the Egyptian Museum. And after that, we are going to take dinner, kushari, as Victoria mentioned before, her favorite dish. And then we are going to visit the Mosque of Ibn Tulun. Okay, that will be the 2 days in Cairo. After we finish Cairo, the third day, we are going to travel to Aswan. We'll take a flight for a couple of hours to Aswan. And then first thing we are going to visit Philae Temple, which were built by Ptolemy, which was dedicated for the goddess Isis. After we finish Philae Temple, then we are going to back to the hotel and relax until the dinner time, which will be in the Nubian house. We choose a Nubian house. We are going to learn about the Nubians, how their traditions, how they live, how their houses look. And then at the end of this day, nothing to do. And then the next day it would be in Aswan as well. So we have 2 days in Cairo, 2 days in Aswan. The next day in Aswan, we'll visit Abu Simbel. Then after we finish Abu Simbel, we're going to relax in the Felucca sailing boat, okay? Then after that, after we finish the 2 days of Aswan, we are going to travel to Luxor.
Just a minute.
Sorry?
What? Yeah, it has.
So first thing we are going to visit in Luxor is Karnak Temple, which is the greatest temple, which includes the greatest hypostyle hall. Then after we finish Karnak Temple, then we are going to go back to our hotel, which is in the middle of the field in the countryside, banana field. It's a very nice one. Then after that, we will got dinner there, and then we will visit Luxor Temple at night. Then next day, so we have another 2 days in Luxor. So 2 days Cairo, 2 days Aswan, 2 days in Luxor. Then the second day in Luxor, we will visit the Valley of the Kings. And then we will visit Hatshepsut Temple, the Queen Hatshepsut Temple, and the Valley of the Queens, which include the most beautiful tomb, which is for the Queen Nefertari, the wife of King Ramses II. It's an amazing tomb, which I just said to Victoria, I saw it last time. When you go inside, you feel it's just done yesterday with amazing colors, and everything was amazing inside. And that after that, that's our day in Luxor. We'll relax in the hotel, and then the next day we will travel from Luxor to Hurghada for relaxing for 2 nights. So we have 2 nights relaxation, massage, skiing, diving, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. And then after that, we are back to Cairo.
Ooh. Thank you, Mariam, for explaining that. I hope that answered your question to who asked. And this is the map from our website that has our itinerary. So I pulled it up for you. So I wanted to answer a few more questions, and then we actually have a special guest who I wanted to invite, who I just saw joined the chat as well. So a few more questions that I'm going to answer quickly is, someone asked, how easy is it to eat vegetarian? And I just wanted to say that it's fairly easy. Egyptians eat a lot of vegetables, lots of carbs, lots of beans. On every single one of our tours, we always have at least 1 or 2 vegetarians, and they've never had any issues. If you're thinking of joining our tour, make sure you just let us know when we ask about the eating requirements or eating restrictions. Let us know about that, and I know that you will be taken care of. Mariam, our guide, make sure that everything is all taken care of for you too.
Yeah. We inform the restaurants as well before we go. We have vegetarians, so they offer the food for them.
And one of the last questions I wanted to answer before inviting our special guest on is, someone asked about COVID and the COVID travel requirements. I wanted to say that the COVID travel requirements are always changing in every country all the time. We have a section on our website that's specific for travel requirements in COVID for all of our locations, and that is updated all the time by our Meetup Tour manager. Once we finish this, I will send everyone all the information on how to find the COVID requirements for Egypt and for other countries, the list of travel what you should wear, things like that, travel, everything. So I'll make sure to give that to you guys in the chat once it is over. Does anyone else have any quick questions to throw into the chat for us to answer? In the meantime, while you guys are doing that, I noticed that the founder of the Solo Female Traveler Network jumped in the chat. I don't know if she's ready for this, but I wanted to introduce her and have her say hi as well. She has traveled through Egypt multiple times and can answer some questions. Amanda, are you here? Can you hear us? We'd love to say hi to you.
Yes. Hi. Can you, where am I? What's happening? I just came in.
Hi.
There we go. Hi. How cool. This event looks amazing.
We're so glad you joined.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I thought that I would just kind of pop in and see how it's going. Yeah, I've been actually, sorry, I'm a little frazzled. I've been working on this.
I wanted to bring you on. I saw you on here. I wanted them to say hi.
No, it's fine. I've been working this morning on our Ukraine fundraiser. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I posted it in our Facebook group about an hour ago, maybe a little more. And we've just been like on fire. It's so exciting. But if anybody is looking to donate, not to a big organization, but directly to women and children in Ukraine, that's what I'm organizing. And we've already raised a lot of money for a woman named Natalia, who is in a bunker right now in the capital with a whole bunch of kids and other moms. And so we've raised about $750 to $800 in just about an hour. And we're about to send it off to Natalia. So anyway, a little frazzled, but super excited. But I wanted to jump in and see how it's going in here. If I can answer any questions about our tours. Otherwise, I'll just kind of sit back and watch.
To speak on that, to anyone who's in here, I know this is an Egypt chat, but if you had questions specifically about our tours, Amanda's the one to ask since she created them. So same thing with our Egypt tour as well, of traveling in Egypt. She can answer those questions for you guys as well. And you don't have to say in the chat. We'd love to hear from you guys. If anyone wants to come off mute and ask some questions, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I would love to talk to you guys.
It's Iya. Hi, Amanda.
Hi. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you again.
I know, right? I do have a question. I want to go to Turkey with you, but I was wondering, how is this Ukraine thing affecting Turkey? Travel to Turkey.
Yeah, that's a great question. At the moment, there are still flights to this part of the world. So at the moment, we have no reason to be worried. But we're right on top of the situation. And if something changes, we'll let you know. But at the moment, it's okay.
Okay, good. All right.
Amanda, someone just asked in the chat, what is the average age group of attendees to our tours?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So, not to sound cliche, because this is totally true, age really doesn't matter. So on our tours, everyone kind of comes by themselves, totally different walks of life, different ages, different situations, and everyone just kind of comes together and forms their own little travel family. So we've had tours where the youngest was 18 and the oldest was 75. And it's a huge age difference, obviously, but everyone just kind of forms their own little, everyone has their own roles, and everyone kind of, forms their own little girl gang. So age really doesn't matter. You're never going to be too old and you're never going to be too young. So don't let that stop you. And whatever age you are, there are going to be other people in your age range. So yeah.
We've got another question that I'm going to bring up. Someone said, oh, it's not a question. I'm jealous of people who can get so much time off work. Are there going to be any tours that are shorter?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a tough one because we'd love to offer short tours, but it's a lot for most people. It's a really long flight, and it's, you know, maybe not even worth it in the end to go that far for only a few days. But we do have some tours that are just naturally shorter in length. For example, Jordan is it 8 days? That's probably our shortest tour. And then we actually, it's not released yet, but we are going to be launching a trip to Lebanon. And that trip is also going to be on the shorter side, probably also about 8 days. So probably 8 days is the minimum.
Someone asked, is there a night where we sleep on the felucca?
Yeah, so we did used to sleep on the felucca, and we did quite a few tours that way, and it's a beautiful experience. But what we learned is that spending sunset and having dinner and doing the fire and the dancing without the sleeping is all the good stuff of sleeping on the felucca. The bad stuff of sleeping on the felucca is the cold and some mosquitoes. So for those reasons, we have moved everyone to a hotel for comfort, but you still get the whole felucca experience.
Thank you. Someone else asked if we do any tours in North America, and someone else asked about the Lebanon tour and when it starts.
So we do tours in North America, and I'm so excited about them. We've worked really hard to make them super special. So we go to the Four Corners. We do the California Lost Coast. That one is extra special because it's very much wild camping, and you have an expert survivalist guide. You don't have to be some hardcore camper, but it's a unique experience. And we also have New England and one more that I'm forgetting at the moment.
Four Corners.
I said that. What am I? California,
Yes,
Four Corners, New
Washington.
England, and Washington, where I live.
Where you
Right.
live.
Yes. So we do those 4 places, and those are all on our website. And then I see the Lebanon. So yeah, Lebanon is my new favorite country. Very, very cool. Difficult to travel to for a few reasons, mostly the way the currency works, but our tour is going to be released for 2023.
What's the problem with the currency in Lebanon?
So not to get too political, but because of the government, the currency, it's really difficult. You can't use your ATM card, and you can sometimes use your credit card, but because the people don't get, they pay a lot of money for transfers and credit card use and whatever, they sometimes won't even take your money. So in order to get money, you have to use Western Union to wire yourself more money. Local people will sometimes not even accept local currency. So sometimes you pay in USD, sometimes like, it's just kind of a big thing. So I actually wanted to stay a lot longer, but I found the money thing like exceptionally challenging. So
no, that's
talk more about that.
But Egypt is most of the time is a cash country. A lot of places they don't take credit cards.
Yeah, you can get around pretty well in Egypt, and all the ATMs will work
yes,
for you.
But if you go to the store and a lot of restaurants and things, you have to pay in cash in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Even the guest houses I stay in, all of them, I had to pay cash.
Yeah, cash is always king, right?
Yeah.
No American Express. I had to learn that when I was there. No American Express in Egypt.
I see Jasmine is asking about the ATV. Yes, we do the ATV excursion in Egypt. It's an optional add-on when we're in the desert in Hurghada, but it's, yeah, super cool, and I recommend it. I asked because Jasmine, why don't you email this email? That's Megan, and she can get you set up.
Does anyone else have any questions for us about Egypt? Can we use a credit card in Egypt? To answer that, for most places, no. Some yes, but it depends. Like if you're using it at a hotel or an established place, yes. But if you're just in the street trying to buy things at a kiosk, no. But it also depends on your type of credit card. Like Aya mentioned, American Express is not accepted, but some places accept Visa and MasterCard. It's very rare though. In the link that I put in the chat that has the traveler information link, we actually have everything that talks about the exchange rate, what exactly it is, what cards are used, what currency you should bring, and things like that as well. And I already put that in the chat. So to answer your question, click on that link once we're done, or save it now and it will answer that too. Hope that answered your question. Do you recommend getting a SIM card? Amanda, did you want to answer that one?
Sure. Yeah, I do recommend getting a SIM card. I think the easiest place to do it is right outside is in the airport. After you exit all customs and everything, before you're exiting the airport and before you properly get out to the kind of the streets, there's loads of kiosks there, and that's the easiest place. It might be a couple dollars more expensive than if you go into like a store on the street, but not enough. Like the convenience of it is worth it. So I definitely I recommend it.
Someone asked which cities are best to visit. We spoke a bit about it earlier. I know a few people jumped on later, but some of the best cities to visit in Egypt are definitely Cairo, of course, because you need to see the pyramids. Aswan, which is down south, which is where the Nubians live and where the Nile River is principal. Luxor, which is where there are the most amount of temples, and the famous temples that you may heard of. Karnak Temple, Luxor Temple, Hatshepsut Temple, etc. And then Hurghada, which is a beach town, and the Red Sea is the most beautiful there. Hope that answers.
Honestly, I suggest getting on our, like, even if you're not coming on our tour, look at our itinerary, because we've like planned it in a way that it includes those really on the beaten path places that you really want to check off, and then also a couple like more off the beaten path places that just add a little bit more culture and like a little bit more like special, like, uniqueness to the itinerary. So I would start there. And then if you want to see more places beyond that, you can jump in the network and ask there. And we can always, call up Mariam and ask her for her advice too for you.
And I'm going to add the link to our network inside of the chat as well. For those of you who don't know, we have a network that is off of Facebook that's completely free. And we do a lot of events like this one, but many others all the time. And as well as any questions that you have about traveling, there's a bunch of people in there who can answer. I see a question on here that has to do with pairing roommates, and I love that question, and I know Amanda can answer it because I'm really excited for her to answer it.
Yeah, I love this question too, because I know that, so from my personal travel experience, when I was doing volunteer programs and, and organized tours and whatever, you'd always get paired up with a roommate, and it would always be random, but I didn't want it to be random for us. I wanted to give everybody the best chance at making like their new best friend, right? Like you'll make great friends with everyone on the tour, at least most people on the tour. But the roommate thing, we really wanted to make it special. So we had a matchmaker and psychologist create a special matchmaking quiz for us. So when you sign up for a tour, when you're close-ish to the departure date, Megan sends you this quiz. It's like, I don't know, 10 questions, 15 questions, and then we'll pair you based on your answers with hopefully the most compatible person on the trip. So far, it's been pretty successful.
And I just talk on that a little bit. The last tour that I was on, that we had the pairing for roommates, I ended up meeting one of my best friends of all time. Her name was Kaylee, and we became the closest roommates, and she's actually now coming to visit me. So the roommate pairing does work. The whole trip, I remember all of us kept saying, wow, why is this so perfect? Because it really was perfect as how we were all fit together. It definitely worked out well. You're welcome. Aya, do you have anything to say about roommates? I'm not sure if you travel when you're with us. Did you ever have a roommate?
Well, the first time when I went to Bali with you guys, I had a roommate, and it was good. Like, we had a lot in common and stuff like that, and we were cool. The second time I was with my best friend, and she was my roommate. This last time I was by myself. I did it alone. I just want to say, when you go on a Sophie tour, really, like, you're experiencing something that you wouldn't normally experience. Like, yeah, you can go to Karnak and you can go to Luxor Temple and you can see the pyramids, but it's the little things, like staying at the Nubian temple, like, no, staying with a Nubian family, or, you know what I mean? Like, you're not getting that elsewhere. And staying on a felucca, I had the chance to spend a night on a felucca and seeing the sunrise. It was awesome. And seeing the sunset on the Nile, just the little things that was done, like those added touches that you didn't even know existed. And you're like amazed at, oh, wow, this is beautiful, especially staying with the Nubian family and seeing where they sleep and the rooms. Oh my God, it was like one of the most beautifulest rooms I've ever stayed in, better than any hotel I've ever been at. Because you realize that you don't need all the amenities and all that stuff. It's just being on a hidden path. It's definitely awesome going with Sophie.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm looking to go to Turkey. Like, you know, people be like, oh, well, you can do that on your own. You can, you know, there's certain things you're like, oh, yeah, I can do that on my own. I can go to Istanbul. I can go to Cappadocia on my own. But what else are you getting? What else? Because Sophie's going to provide that little extra that you probably you don't even know how to do on your own, or that you even wanted to see, you know? So it's such a great experience. I'll always go with Sophie.
This will, if you go
Aw.
to Turkey, it will be your 4th trip, right?
So sweet.
Yeah, going to Turkey will be my 4th trip.
Wow.
Turkey is beautiful. You're going to enjoy it.
Right, because I was thinking, I was like, oh, I can go to Turkey. I want to go to Turkey. You know, everybody wants to go to Cappadocia and Istanbul. But when I was reading the itinerary, I was like, huh, I didn't even know this existed. Like, I want to see this. You know what I'm saying? So their itinerary and how they set up that itinerary on the website, it makes you be like, wow, I didn't even know. I have to experience this.
It's beautiful.
Well, we are glad. So we are ending our time here. I wanted to thank Mariam for joining us, our amazing Egypt tour guide. Our tours wouldn't happen without you, so thank you.
I'm happy to be with you, and I hope to see everyone here in Egypt soon. I always say that guests to Egypt, and we leave friends. So I hope really to see you in Egypt soon.
When I was living in Dahab, so many people came on vacation for a week or two, and 6 months later, they are still there. And there are people that have been there 2, 3, 4 years, and they don't want to leave.
Yes,
And
Egypt
it's
is
amazing,
definitely
yeah.
amazing.
yeah, it's
I
just,
wanted to
yeah,
say
I know.
thank you to everyone. And I
Okay.
just wanted to let everyone know as well that, again, we host a bunch of these type of events, not just specific about Egypt, but specific about all countries, along with our tour guides. And we do happy hours, social hours, trivia nights, etc. in our off Facebook community network. So I put the link here.
But
If
I don't see it.
I will go ahead and put it again. Don't worry. But
Yeah, because-
definitely make sure that you guys get in. It's completely free. And we would love to see you guys at more of these.
Oh,
events.
the solo female traveler, yeah.
And I also, before we go, wanted to say thank you to Amanda, our founder. I know I forced you to jump in on this without you realizing it, but thank you for talking and telling everyone hi and a bit about Egypt.
Yeah, love being here. And thank you everyone for coming. Hope to see you in the network, on a tour, around. We're always here to support you in your travels.
And everybody that's going to Egypt, enjoy it. It's beautiful.
Thank you. And yes, everyone will enjoy it for sure. All right, everyone.
I'm
we hope
sure
you
they
have
will.
a great
Bye-bye.
day or night, wherever you are.
Bye.
See you soon.
Yeah, nice.
Victoria, bye, Mariam.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
You're welcome.